Welcome to Grammar Grade 12. I'm really glad you're here. This is Unit 1, Lesson 1, and we're beginning right where every sentence begins, with the noun. You've known nouns for years, so today we go deeper. We'll look at a noun from 4 angles at once: its number, its possessive form, and whether the thing it names is concrete or abstract. Master those 4, and you truly own the noun. Let's dig in. Let's begin with the foundation. A noun is a word that names a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. A poet, a harbor, a telescope, a belief. Every one of those is a noun. They're the words we hang almost everything else on. Now, you already know that. So today we'll examine 4 things you can ask about any noun. Is it one or more than one? How does it show ownership? And is the thing it names something you can touch or something that lives only in the mind? Start with the simplest angle, number. A singular noun names one poet, one hill. A plural noun names more than one, poets, hills. Most nouns just add an S, but watch the spelling. After a hiss, an S, an X, a CH, or SH, we add ES. So one watch becomes 2 watches. And when a noun ends in a consonant plus Y, the Y changes to I before we add ES. One story becomes many stories. Same idea every time, more than one. But the spelling shifts to keep the word easy to say. Now the possessive form, the one that shows ownership, or the relationship between 2 nouns. Here's the rule that settles almost every case. For a singular noun, add an apostrophe and an S. The writer's story, one writer who owns the story. For a plural noun that already ends in S, add just an apostrophe after that S. The writer's stories. Many writers, sharing the credit. So the trick is to name the owner first, decide if it's one or many, and only then place the apostrophe. Say the owner out loud, and the apostrophe almost lands itself. Next angle, the kind of thing the noun names. Start with the kind you can get your hands on, the concrete noun. A concrete noun names something real that your senses can catch, something you can see, hear, smell, touch, or taste. Think of a lantern glowing on a porch, the crack of thunder overhead, the smell of cinnamon in a warm kitchen, the cool of rain on your skin. Every one of those words points to something the body can perceive. So here's the test. If one of your 5 senses can reach it, the noun is concrete. Now for the opposite kind, the abstract noun. An abstract noun names something you cannot see or touch at all. An idea, a quality, or a feeling. Courage, freedom, patience, joy. These are every bit as real, but not in a way any sense can reach. You can't hold a jar of courage or point to a slice of freedom. They live in the mind and the heart. A good clue. Abstract nouns are often the names of emotions, virtues, or ideas. Words like honesty, wonder, or fear. Here's a trick that makes the difference click. Take one scene and pull out both kinds of noun. Picture a sailor standing at the helm in a storm. The sailor herself is concrete. You can see her and hear her voice over the wind. But her courage? That is abstract. You can feel it in the moment, yet no sense ever sees a piece of courage. Same instant, 2 different kinds of noun. So whenever you're unsure, ask a single question. Can a sense reach it? If the answer is yes, the noun is concrete. If no, it's abstract. Let's boil the whole lesson into a quick check you can run on any noun. 1. Is it one or more than one? Singular or plural? 2. Does it own something? Then form the possessive and mind where the apostrophe falls. 3. Can one of your senses reach it? See, hear, smell, touch, or taste? If so, it's concrete. And 4. Is it really an idea, a quality, or a feeling? Then it's abstract. 4 quick questions and you've sized up any noun completely. Ready to try a few together? In this first set, I'll show you a noun in a sentence and you name its form. Is it singular, plural, or possessive? Pause the video and choose before I reveal each answer. The sailors' uniforms hung by the door. Look at sailors. There's more than one, and they own the uniforms, so we need the possessive. The apostrophe sits after the S, which tells you it's plural. So sailors is plural possessive. The poet's notebook was full of ideas. Here, there's just one poet, and that poet owns the notebook. The apostrophe comes before the S, marking a single owner. So poets is singular possessive. 3 telescopes line the observatory wall. There's more than one telescope, so it's plural. But notice, nothing is being owned here, and there's no apostrophe. So telescopes is simply plural, not possessive. Now each item is a single noun. Decide, is it concrete, something a sense can reach, or abstract, an idea or feeling in the mind? Pause and choose before I answer. The word is thunder. Close your eyes. Can a sense reach it? You can hear thunder rolling across the sky. Your ears catch it plainly. Because a sense can perceive it, thunder is concrete. The word is freedom. Try to see it, touch it, hear it. You can't. Freedom is an idea, something we prize but never perceive with the senses. So freedom is abstract. The word is cinnamon. Picture it. You can smell its warm scent and taste it on your tongue. Since your senses can reach it, cinnamon is concrete. Let's gather up what we learned. First, number. A singular noun names one. A plural names more than one. And the spelling shifts with an ES or a Y to I along the way. Second, the possessive. Add apostrophe S to a singular owner, and just an apostrophe to a plural noun that already ends in S. And third, the kind of thing named. Concrete nouns are the ones your senses can reach. A lantern, thunder, cinnamon. While abstract nouns name what only the mind can hold, like courage, freedom, and joy. That's a strong start to Grammar Grade 12. In our next lesson, we'll sort nouns yet another way: proper, common, and collective. I'll see you there.